Alright, y'all, I'm kind of working outside today, so excuse my appearance or whatever. Today we are talking about the final book of this series, Wicked Beauty, with Katie Robert. I do have my dogs next to me. We have Shadow and Stella, and they are playing around, living their best life. There's a pile of leaves over there. It's windy outside. This is probably not the smartest, but, you know, I'm outside. I'm not going inside. I'm not sitting on my bed all dirty. Anyways, so Wicked Beauty, genre of this book, kind of the same as the rest. It is the fiction, romance and fantasy, Greek mythology. The trope of this is the love triangle between Achilles, Patroclus, and Helen. So basically the plot of this is all three of them are fighting to become the new Ares. And I like this book because I am an Aries, and it was just interesting, you know, kind of to read her take on my little zodiac Greek god thing. It was dumb, but I was like, hey, this is fun. So yeah, they're all competing, and then everybody in this whole city is like, Helen, please drop out of these games. You're gonna die. Anyways, they do make it through, and then these three start flirting with each other before the games even start. The games end with, like, if she doesn't win, then whoever wins gets to marry her. And then, so she doesn't like that immediately. Also, her ex is in these games, and he's a terrible person. He's a terrible, terrible person. So, I mean, I wouldn't want to marry him if I were her either, because gross. Also, he's so sleazy. So sleazy. I don't like it. Achilles, Patroclus, and Ellen are all in this love triangle. They're flirting, and it's really just Achilles and Helen at first. And then Helen kind of uses Patroclus to kind of make Achilles jealous, but then Patroclus is like aware that that's happening, and then he starts catching feelings for her, and then oh my golly gee whiz. Okay, so it just kind of develops from there, and then they all have feelings for each other, and then Achilles and Patroclus have been together for like years. I'm pretty sure since they were like 17 or 18 or something, it said. And so, you know, it's been a while. But they all get along really well. They kind of help each other through the different trials of this tournament. And, you know, there's a part in the book where their lives were threatened outside of the trials, which is kind of like against the whole, it's against the rules if somebody in the trials were to have caused them that harm. And so, they all end up having to room together, and it's just, oh no, that's so sad. Dang. Darn it. And that gets fun. The ending, I didn't expect. The ending, I was like, oh, okay. I don't want to tell you who wins, but basically one of them gets hurt, and then whoever wins is, kind of not allowed to see the other person because of who they work for, and so it's sad because they're the new Ares, and they don't want to start having an enemy right off the bat. But they go anyways, and then it kind of doesn't become a big deal because I think, like, that's what I was saying with the other book, why I didn't understand why it ended the way it did. It needed to, so that this book could end the way that it did, because there's, like, peace among the 13 now, and I mean, mostly peace. There's still some loose ends, but it's not as bad as it was before, and it's not as toxic as it was before. They're all pretty much united. I mean, obviously when these people die, I'm sure other stuff will happen, but they're all young, so they've got some time, which I think is, like, nice in a way, because you don't really need to know what happens with the next generation, because that's years away, like 60 plus, 70 plus away, because this isn't like a presidency. Like, these people hold these titles until they die. So, quotes that I liked let me see what I got. Okay, so in chapter 9, it's page 105. This is Helen speaking. She's kind of talking about her feelings, and this is like when they're first starting the trials or in like a training session, and she's still trying to prove herself that she's tough, and like she's starting to flirt with them. Well, she's been flirting with them, but it's starting to get more intense, and like she's starting to catch feelings. And she says, so I'm gonna kind of skip through this paragraph because there's certain parts in it that I like. She says, when was the last time someone tried to take care of me? I can't remember. The last soft person in my life was my mother, and she's been dead 15 years. How effing pathetic is that? And, you know, that is really sad. So she's actually the daughter of Zeus, and in Neon Gods, you can really just tell how brutal and terrible of a person he was, especially to women. Bless you. So I can imagine how he was to his, daughter, especially since she's not like an heir to anything. Like, she doesn't really matter. She's just somebody to marry off to him. So I get that a lot. And then you kind of just see how appreciative she is of these two men, because, I mean, they're big, they're buff, they're warriors. They can be scary, but they are very, like, soft and intuitive to her emotions and what she needs, and it's really nice, just to see her get to be loved the way that she wants to be loved. And then my next one is chapter 24. It's on page 286. Let's see. Okay, so this is the first page of chapter 24. Okay, this is Patroclus. Basically he's just saying, like, he's underestimating Helen, and this is Patroclus. He's just saying that he's underestimating Helen, and he's starting to notice things about her and start to admire her. So he says, I've underestimated Helen. Again, I stare at the fire in her amber eyes and have to shift every path into the future I had speculated on. So, this is kind of like him realizing that he likes her more than just for the connection. And he doesn't really mind having to share her with Achilles, because in his ideal world he would have them both. In Achilles' world he would have both, and in Helen's world she would have both, because whatever Achilles lacks, Patroclus has. Whatever Patroclus has, Achilles lacks. So they complement each other, and then Helen just brings in this personality that brings out the best in both of them, and also they bring out the best in her too. She's not so hard-shelled. She's learning how to trust people. She's learning how to appreciate people and herself, and she's taking what she knows she needs for herself. She's not waiting anymore. That was the whole point of her joining these trials, is to start her own path in her life and not let Zeus control her. And that's not going to happen anymore. And she gets to choose, and then she gets to choose with these two wonderful, wonderful men. Having that said, I'm going to go ahead and tell you my emotional experience to this book. I don't know if you could already tell, but started off very exciting because I've read Achilles, the book, and I cried so hard. Honestly, I'm watering. My eyes are sweating. Hold on. That book is so good. But I read that book before I read this one. Not on purpose, but I bought it like the same time I bought Call Me By Your Name to actually read, because I watched the movie but I never read the book. So I read those two back to back. Terrible idea if you want to like keep a stock of tissues in your house and wake up without puffy eyes. Yeah. Anyway, so I was excited to read this. But I see Achilles, I see Helen, because also the way that Helen is, her character is developed in Electric Idol, you can tell something needs to happen with her character. So I was happy that she was in this book. And I didn't read like a preview or anything. I read Neon Gods and then I just finished the rest. Like, I didn't look at the sneak peek, I didn't read what was going to happen in these, I didn't even read what characters were in these. I guess I wanted it to be kind of a surprise. Yeah, and then Patroclus, I just think his character was really nicely developed in this too, because he kind of starts off as a sidekick, and then by the end of it, he's a main character. He is the moment. Yeah, so my emotions through this, I was just really happy through a lot of it, and pleased by how they made their connection, and like with all the flirting and how it ended. The ending was weird. I was really shocked by the ending. I don't know why I was, honestly. Like, I know this author. I don't know why I was shocked by what she did. And she should have done it this way too. So I have no complaints. For the rating of this book, I would say I put this at 4 stars. Maybe 4.5, because I love this couple so much. It's not really so much as like the book, but the personalities. Yeah, so I would give it 4 or 4.5. I know that's pretty high. I know it's really, really high, but I reread this book quite often. I mean, it's to the point where I could read this in like maybe 3 hours, because it's nice. Anyways, yeah, so I've read that, and then the spice aspect, there's a lot of different likings in this book. It's definitely, polyamorous, so if you don't like that, you're probably not gonna like this. But I think it's probably like a 3.5 or a 4 for that spice rating. Yeah, I think the love and how they learned to love each other was really nice, though. I like that a lot. Like the Electric Idol, like that love, I was like, this is kind of boring. And then Neon Gods, it was entertaining, don't get me wrong. I liked what they did and what their likings were. But it was expected in a way. This just kind of kept me on my toes the whole time. And there was so much more on the line than just one person hurting another, which made it so much more intriguing, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my little book club review of Wicked Beauty. Next book I'm gonna review is another book by Katie Robert. I don't know if I should review that, actually, because it's kind of bad. It's The Dragon Bride. I read that book on my Kindle because I would be terrified if anybody asked me what I was reading in public. So I might be lying too. I might actually cut this out and not do it, but we shall see. So I hope you like this review, like this video. Comment down below what your favorite part of this book was, or since this is the last little video of this little series, if you've watched the other videos, comment which book you would be most excited to read. Yeah, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for letting me annoy you guys today. Bye.